What's up, witches? What's up? What's up? Hi. Some of you already in here. What's up? Thank you for already liking this video. I'm like, what? I just opened it up and I already have likes. Hi, guys. What's up, witches? What's up? What's up? Can you see me? What's up? What's up? What's up? Let me know if you can hear me and see me okay. Hi. What's up? Give me a thumbs up or something if everyone can hear and see me. I think we're good. Hi, Liz. You can hear and see me. Awesome. Let's see. A little more light. What's up, guys? Welcome. Hi. Hi, Deja. What's up? Welcome back, guys. How are we? How's everyone doing today? How's your week? Last week, how was your weekend? Let me know. Hi, Robin. Welcome. What's up, witches? Oh, okay. My pin posted. Yay. Still very pregnant. Yay. Good job. I'm passing this semester. B+ in all your classes. Excellent. Good job. And on being very pregnant still. Good job with that. That's work too. Hi, Josie. Welcome. Yeah, Deja Liz says, yay, about your classes. Congratulations. Hi, everybody. What's up? So I see folks are trickling in here. How are you? How is everyone doing? I hope your week was amazing last week. I hope that the transition that we were talking about and the transitions that people were going through were not too hectic, and you were able to go inward and give thoughts to cords that might need to be cut and things that might need to be let go of in your life so you can complete those transitions. So I hope that last week was introspective and enlightening and helpful for all you guys. Let's see what's going on here. Well, I'll let you know if you're new here. I'm Allie, aka BronxWitch. This is the live weekly tarot reading for the collective. This is for the week of May 24th through May 30th, 2021. And this is something that we started doing as a community on Instagram when the quarantine started last year. And we've been doing it now for over a year, and now we're on YouTube. So welcome if this is your first time here. That's what we're up to. If you've been here before, welcome back. The general rundown of how we do the lives, usually we just chat for a while, check in, hey, the what for, say what's up, how everyone's doing. We talk a little bit about what we're drinking usually because we're here for a while. I'm just going to let you know that. This is your first time here. We're here for a while. So usually people get a drink, they get comfortable, they settle down, tune in on their lunch breaks, things like that. And we talk about announcements, things coming up in my world, in my shop, BronxWitch Bodega, things going on with the channel, things going on with you guys. We talk about astrology because as above, so below. And I'm not an astrologer, so it's not like a full astrology reading, but we will talk a little bit about like the major transits going on because they end up showing up in the cards anyway. So it makes sense to talk about them. So we'll do that. And then I will pull cards for you guys from the Oracle deck, from tarot decks, from various other decks to give us an idea of like what the energy might be this week and what things we might want to focus on or be aware of, as well as messages from spirit to help support us, whether that be an herb that steps forward to help us through the week, or a ritual that we can perform, a flower, things like that. So that's what we do together. Hi, KJ. What's going on? Hi, Mariah. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Yay, I'm glad you're all in here. What else? Well, so that's the rundown of what we do in case this is your first time here. For everybody else, how have you been? What's going on, guys? So much going on with astrology this week. Yes. There's a lot going on. Like I said, I'm not an astrologer, so I'm not qualified to talk about most of it, but we'll talk about the major things. It's Gemini season. We have a full moon coming up. We have a retrograde coming up. So we'll talk about the major stuff because they're going to show up in the cards anyway, so we might as well. But I hope that everyone had a really enlightening last week, because I felt like that was the energy going around. I felt like there was a lot of going inward and taking time to really be honest with ourselves about like what our attachments are and why we stay connected to the things that we stay connected to, because that was coming up a lot for me and my readings and prayers and things. Mariah did a guided cord cutting meditation Reiki session, feeling lighter already. Oh, I love that. Yes. We talked about doing cord cutting rituals. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, if you were here last week, you know I had to go. So I didn't pull the support card for you guys. And instead I pulled it after and I posted it on Instagram. So on Instagram, you may have seen that I pulled from the Botanica deck. And the card that was pulled is an anemone, which I thought was like a fish, but apparently there's a flower called that too. And it's a flower of change and transition. And the message with it was all about being not patient, but understanding that transitions take time, and that when you're in the middle, meaning when it's not the beginning and it's not the completed change, that's the roughest time and the hardest time. So that was just sort of a word of encouragement to help us get through all of that. Mariah June says, I love Loon Innate's videos here on YouTube. Ooh, is that an astrologer? Definitely check that out, guys. In the description box for this video, I do have a list of the astrologers that I watch on a regular basis. Pam Gregory, Braca Goldsmith, and Luz Astral. So they are linked for you. And then Mariah is hooking us up with another reference, which is Loon Innate's videos on YouTube. There you go. What's everybody drinking? That's what I want to know. She does guided meditation, ASMR, Reiki, energy healing types of stuff. Ooh, nice. Yeah, we talked about cord cutting. In the Instagram post, I linked Auntie Carla. I should be following Auntie Carla. Auntie Carla, Marie Lazo on Instagram. She recently had a post about cord cutting rituals, so I linked her page in case you were wondering about those. And then who else did I link? I linked Mystical Misty Candles. Awesome candle company. They have the most creative figure candles ever, and they have these really useful figure candles specifically for cord cutting, where they have they're attached with a wick already, and she actually has a candle in the shape of a scissors, so you can actually light the scissors candle and use that to burn away the cord that's connecting the two figure candles, which I thought was pretty genius. So really cool. But wherever you go for cord cutting rituals, it definitely felt like that was very needed for a lot of you last week. There was a lot of trying to figure out why you're attached to some of the things you're attached to when all signs point to them not being really right for you anymore. And we talked about how cord cutting rituals can help to sever those emotional and energetic cords, ties that develop between us and other people, other things, other entities in our lives. So I'm very happy to hear that you guys, some of you did some cord cutting. That is awesome. Yay, you made it. Yes, welcome. Very cool. So what's everybody drinking on? It looks like there's 18 of you in here. So hopefully you guys are getting settled, getting nice and comfy. I decided to do something a little bit different today. Usually I have an herbal infusion with me, but today I was in the mood for something really, really uplifting. I was like, I want to lift my energy. I want to be in a good mood. And so I have my tea, Bye Bye Blues tea, which I did as a cold infusion. You can kind of see how dark it is. It's made with butterfly pea flower, corn flour, St. John's wort, linden flower. and a little stevia leaf. So it's really nice and sweet, and it's really good as an iced tea kind of thing. So instead of making a whole iced tea, I just steeped it cold, and I just drink it cold. And because there's stevia in it, I don't add any sweetener, but you can. Sabine's drinking water. Liz is drinking seltzer. KJ's drinking water. Ooh, a lot of water in the house. I love this tea. If any of you in here have this tea, let me know what you think about it. This is Bye Bye Blues. It's one of my teas. Someone's having a cold brew. That's Chloe's having a cold brew. Deja's just drinking some cold charged water. Ooh, charged how? Charged under a moon or just charged with prayer? How'd you charge your water? Water in my crystal bottle, says the what for. That's cool. What crystals do you have in your bottle? I have a crystal water bottle too, and I have amethyst because that's my crystal. Liz has Bye Bye Blues and loves it. Yay! Thank you, Liz. Johnny's having chamomile tea. I've been working a lot with chamomile this month because I've been working on my next smoke blend for the shop, which comes out in June. Get excited. And it is definitely going to have chamomile in it. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. It's going to have chamomile in it. So yeah, Liz, I don't know if you've tried Bye Bye Blues iced or cold, but it's really good. Deja practices Reiki, same. So sometimes I charge it with affirmations or just pure energy for whatever I need. I love it. Reiki charged water. My water is charged with the intention from last week's herb card. Oh, yay. I love that. Love it, love it. Transition and change. Hey, Tammy. Clear quartz glass water bottle. Ooh. Oh, wait. Is the water bottle made out of clear quartz? Or is there clear quartz inside the glass water bottle? That's probably what you mean. You have one of those glass water bottles with the crystals inside, I think is what you're saying. I normally have it hot, but we'll try it cold next time. Yeah, I love it hot too. I like making moon milk with it hot. I steam milk and make a lot of foam and make moon milk. It's so good. But cold is really nice too. And if you make a tea lemonade, it'll turn purple, which is cool. Josie's having green tea. I love green tea, Josie, but the problem with green tea for me is it's so drying. It's so astringent. Like 1 cup will be enough to just totally zap my throat and make it hard for like talking stuff. So I tend to stay away from it unless I put like a lot of honey. But otherwise it dries me out. But it's so annoying because I love the taste. The what for? No, clear quartz inside the water bottle. Yeah, that's what I thought. But the crystal actually touches the water crystals touches the crystal. Okay. That I love too, because I have a water bottle with crystals inside, but it's a plastic water bottle, and it's inside. The crystals are inside like a reservoir on the inside of the bottle, so the water doesn't touch the crystals, and I do feel like that makes a difference. But the reason I didn't get one of those glass bottles is because I just can't trust myself with a glass water bottle. I just feel like, no, that's a disaster waiting to happen. But I want to get one of those. So I'm thinking about it. I like my plastic bottle. It's fine. But I do feel like there's a difference. So, but anywho, while folks are coming in and maybe telling us a little bit about what they're drinking on, what they're sipping on, how their week has been, I will let you guys know about stuff going on in the bodega. So first of all, I want to say thanks. Super shout out to all you guys who went ahead and took advantage of my surprise restock of Prosperity Soap, my magic soap for abundance. You guys went and sold it out again. So thank you so much. It's again sold out, but don't worry, it will be back at the beginning of the month. Every first Saturday of the month, I update the store. I restock my shop on Etsy, BronxWitch Bodega. So I'll be doing that on January 5th, I believe it is, that first Saturday of the month, 12 noon Eastern. And so all of your favorites will be restocked then. So if something is sold out, it will be coming back. Smoke blends are still only available by DM because Etsy is like whatever. So it's only available by DM right now. I hope to have that resolved by the time I update the shop in June. So either the smoke blends will be back on Etsy or they'll be on a different site entirely. But I plan on automating it so you guys don't have to DM me and stuff. But I appreciate you guys accommodating and placing your orders that way. If you are interested in smoke blends, and you want to, I'm trying to figure out why this incense is like so intense. I'm like, do not set up my smoke alarm. So, if you are interested in smoke blends, they are available by DM. So just shoot me a DM on my Instagram page. I posted a couple of posts to explain the smoke blends in case you're totally unfamiliar and all that stuff. So just look at those posts first, please. It has all the info about every blend, what's in them, all that stuff, as well as information about how to order, what to tell me in your DM, and all that good stuff. So check out my Instagram for more info on that. But on Friday of this week, nothing will be available because it's the monthly shop shutdown. So if you don't know, at the end of the month, I shut down the shop for a week because the majority of the things that I make for you guys are herbal and they're small batch. And so to make sure that everything is made fresh, I just shut the shop down at the end of the month and restock and remake everything. So Friday will be the last day that the shop will be open. So definitely go check it out now in case there's something that you want, because you won't be able to order again until the shop reopens. So you might want to check that out. You've never heard of crystal water bottles, Mariah? Oh my gosh, yeah. I feel like they were like super popular last year. There were like ads and pictures about them everywhere. I agree. I chose one that I actually had it just like that. Wanted the water to touch the crystal. Yeah, Lopez the G. They took them down off of Etsy, which is like, whatever, Etsy. It's your site. You make your rules, okay? But yeah, it added an extra level of complication. So I very much appreciate all of you guys being patient and placing your orders through DM until I get them back up on Etsy or on a site. Okay, so very appreciative of that, you guys. What else? Is there anything about the shop? Does anybody have any questions about the shop real quick before I move on? I literally never ask you guys like if you have questions about stuff, and I just assume that everyone is like aware, but they might be new people here. So if you have any questions about what I'm talking about, let me know. I'm talking about my shop, BronxWitch Bodega. It's on Etsy. I make organic medicinal herbal blends that are enchanted for intention, teas, smoke blends, yoni steams primarily. But I also have crystal accessories, so crystal smoking pipes for your smoke blends, crystal tea infusers for your tea blends, and magical soap, which is soap charged with intention that comes with a printed spell for you to do with the soap. So those are like the bulk of what's in my shop. Will the protection oils be making a comeback? Oils will be making a comeback in like a really big way. So that's why it's been taking so long for oils to come back. I've decided to completely revamp how I make my oils. And that's going to allow me to use those oils in other blends. And that way people can either get the oil individually or they can get like a soap or a candle that has that oil in it. So I'm trying to formulate that so when oils come back, they're gonna like really come back. So yes, I just can't tell you when. Hi, Anthony. Sorry, I can't tell you when. I want to say like in the next few months or so, because I've already started figuring out what the bases of each oil is going to be, meaning like what type of oil I'm going to be using. And then from there, what's going to be added to them, how they'll be enchanted and, spirited and all that good stuff. So yes, to answer your question. If you have other questions about the shop, let me know. I don't see any coming in, so I'm going to move on. But that's the info about the shop. If you have any other questions, in the description box is the links to the shop and all that good stuff. Okay? Oh my gosh. You're holding on to your last bit of protection oil. I love my protection oil. It's going to be so much better when it comes back. So I really, really, really appreciate your patience. What's going to make it better is that it's going to be conjured, which is different from enchanting. I had the blessing of taking a very extensive, not very extensive, but a very good, just a very good hoodoo course that has really introduced me in a really great way to conjure, and adding that to my magical practice has like really, really, really changed how I approach spiriting the things that I am making, as well as the spirits that I work with when I do that. And I'm in a very different space magically after gaining this new level of connection with my practice. And so I'm really excited to like revisit a lot of things. So all the things, for those of you who've been following me for a while, that's okay, Acme, welcome. You're not late. For those of you who've been following me for like the last year, and you know when I first started the shop, a lot of the things that went away, like my oils, like my ritual bath salts, all of those things kind of went away because I wanted to address like the magic that was in them. And it's just really beautiful how it's all played out. I'm really excited. Anyway, I won't hype it up any further. Just get excited. Oils are coming back and it's going to be big. It's going to be big. Yes, Liz, we're just chatting right now. Acme, you're totally good. We were just catching up. I was just starting off with announcements. We're in middle of the announcements. Next thing for announcements that I wanted to tell you guys is memberships. This is like my private little, like, you guys are the real friends because you guys show up every week to this. So like, I'm telling you guys first. Nothing is totally finalized. I'm still praying on it. I'm still working it out. I'm still trying to figure out how to show up for you guys the way that is going to be most helpful, to give you the things that you're looking for, and to do what I want to do with this community and be available the way I want to. I'm like kind of freaking out because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a lot of like my time and energy. Can I do it? It's not that I'm concerned about like, can I do it time or energy wise? Like I'm an Energizer bunny, honey. I'm an all-nighter queen. It's not good. It's bad for my health. I'm terrible, but I put in work. So that's not the issue. The issue is I worry about like taking on too much or promising too much to you guys and then not being able to deliver and disappointing. So that like makes me really nervous. But I've been listening to the feedback that you guys have been giving me on the poll questions that I asked here on YouTube and on Instagram. So thank you guys for answering to those poll questions. And it's become really clear to me that I think a good enough chunk of you would really like to get more serious when it comes to like spirituality, magic, and stuff like that. I think a lot of you guys, well, I know a lot, like 95% of you who responded said that you'd be interested in a book club. People have been DMing me privately and talking to me about the need for a support group. Like all these things have been like coming together, and I'm like, can I do this? Can I do this? Can I do this? And I don't know, but I think I'm gonna. So you guys heard it here first. I am very seriously thinking about pulling together this book club idea in the context of YouTube memberships, which is a new thing that YouTube is doing. Oh, Megan said, how do you use the protection oil? Anyone? I've been deep diving into protection. Lopez, if you want to share with Megan how you use the protection oil, I can tell you that the ways I recommend using the protection oil is like any other anointing oil. So it is made with skin safe ingredients, so you can anoint yourself with it. But you can also just use it to anoint your tools or your candles. I think people probably use it most often for dressing candles, would be my guess. And then like anointing themselves next, probably. Just came from your 5 Tips Tarot video. Hi, Gabor. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Well, it's cool that you're here and that you mentioned that Tarot Tips video because that's my #1 viewed video. And I think the reason for that is because people really like the way that I broke it down from the perspective of like, what's your goal with tarot, because you can start in any way, but like, what is your goal? Even if it's not your forever long-term goal, just like, what is your goal right now? And based on that, I do think you might want to start your journey a little bit differently, or you might want to have different things to consider. People have responded really well to that video, and it's the type of stuff that can go further in depth in, but I really feel like just the pre-made videos can be a little bit hard, and it would be good and better, I think, for us if we could like go live like this more often, or even do like Zooms where we could actually do stuff live. Because the thing about making videos that's so hard for me is I try to put way too much information into a video, and then I'm stuck like for a week trying to cut it down to 20 minutes. And 20 minutes for me is like reasonable, you know what I mean? And that's long for people to sit through a video, and it doesn't necessarily help you if you can't ask questions in the moment. So I really feel like if we could do more lives and we could do like Zooms off of YouTube and stuff like that, it would be great for us to come together. People can ask their questions, they can get to know each other, you guys can talk to each other like you are now, like how Lopez is telling Megan how they use the protection oil. And we can be like interactive in a community. And I feel like you learn faster that way. I feel like you get to the point that way. And not that it's like hand holding, but that it's like an interactive experience, as opposed to let me go and just watch like 40 of these videos about the same topic and hope that I piece it all together into something that works for me. Anyway, that's a rant. That's my rant about why I think I should start some of these groups that people have been talking about. So what does that mean? That means I am seriously contemplating taking advantage of YouTube's new feature, which is the membership feature. If you haven't seen anything about it, don't worry. I had no idea it existed until the other day. But apparently, YouTube now has a feature that is very similar to Patreon, where basically content creators can set up different membership levels, and people can join and they can get exclusive content that's not, available to the public, or they can interact privately off of the platform or through social media or things like that. I feel like that would be the best space for some of the things we're talking about, like book clubs and support groups and things like that, because then we can do Zooms and then we can do stuff like that where you guys can actually I love reading your comments, but it'd be great if you could talk and we could talk about it and we could ask questions and all that stuff. So that would allow me to do that. That would allow me the support that I would need administratively to actually run it, get a Zoom membership so we can have longer than 45-minute talks and stuff like that. But that is still linked to YouTube, which is where everybody is here. And then I can continue and will continue to do the live weekly reading here on YouTube and do all of my other videos and readings and stuff like that. But for people who want something more interactive, more in-depth, they can do memberships. What do you think? What do you think? The way I'm thinking this would work, because people have mentioned these two different concepts, I think we should do both. I think I want to do a book club and a support group, and I'll do Zoom meetings for both, but they'll be separate, so you can be in both if you want to be in both, or you could just do one. I think it would be cool to focus in on authors of color, LGBTQ plus writers, writers of divergent paths, of spiritualities, and traditions that maybe don't get talked about as much, and really like read about the topics that we're all interested in, like herbalism and tarot, divination, witchcraft, all that stuff, but like from authors that really connect with us as like a group. Okay. Women writers, actually guy writers. I said women writers, like women are minority writers in the magic world, and that is not the case. Male authors, we'll find lots of male witches who are writing, because there are some great male witches with books coming out that I would love to read. So that's what I'm thinking about for the book club. And then I'm thinking for the support group, obviously all witches of every walk of life and every path and all of that can benefit immensely from community, but that doesn't mean that every community is for everyone. And what I have noticed from the people who have reached out to me about like private like mentorship or support group or things like that is it's mostly been my witches of color who have been reaching out to me about that. I think probably kind of obviously maybe to some people, but in case it's not obvious, because of how strict from our ancestry and our ancestral practices Black people have been, especially Black Americans, how strict of their practices Indigenous people have been everywhere. And I just really feel like there are some really unique elements, or I know that there are some really unique elements to being a witch of color. It's hard to find resources. It's hard to find credible teachers. It's hard to just find community and people that are like you, that look like you, that talk like you. And while I find pretty much every like witchy community that I've ever been a part of to be totally welcoming, it's still hard, I think, to find those specific pieces of information and things that you need, that specific support that you need when you're just like one of a few in a group. So I say that to say that I think if I do a support group, the support group will probably be for witches of color, for BIPOC witches, to help us find resources, to connect with each other, help us learn about our ancestral practices, maybe have elders and practitioners that I know, that people know, come and talk to us and things like that. I think that's where I would want to go with the support group, because I feel like that's where I could be the most helpful in terms of making a space that's needed. That's what I'm thinking there. And then I think book club, open to everyone, really trying to read, authors that represent the group, all of us. So everything would be up to vote. I would use the community tab. There's a members only community tab for the members. So I would use the members only community tab, and everything would be put to vote. So we would vote on the books that we would read. We would vote on the topics of like what areas we would read from, with every month. We would vote like a month in advance, so everybody would know what we were going to start reading next. That way, if you don't want to be a member for a certain book, you don't join. And then if you want to wait until the next book, or what you see a book that you like that we're reading, you have a whole month to join. So okay, it's July. In August, they're going to be reading this book. When August comes, I'm going to get a membership and read and join, And then the support group, I would also post in the community tabs, and everything would be up to vote. I think the support group would probably be a little bit more like loose, because it's a support group. So it's like, what are we going through? What do people want to talk about? What do people need? But I would probably have some structure that would involve like calling in our ancestors, like a little bit of breath work or meditation in the beginning, and maybe like a general topic or area of discussion just to like spur conversation and stuff like that. What do we think? Okay, let's see. What are you saying? Oh, you guys have been saying a bunch of stuff. Okay, I watched that video like 3 times. Oh, you're talking about the tarot video. I do. Okay, Lopez uses the protection oil before altar work. Okay, Acme says that's going to be lit. Mariah, very down for all of this. Deja says, I'm excited for the book club and the support group. Anthony says, sounds interesting. Ursa says, good afternoon. I'm super late. That's okay. We're tossing around an idea about a book club and a separate support group. Coco says, I think all of this sounds fantastic. So I know the book club, definitely people were super interested in based on your poll responses, for sure. What really, really, really touched my heart and made me so happy is that I think 60% of you said that you would pay a small membership fee for the book club because you understand that this will be work, potentially a lot of work. I've never done this before, and I have no idea with 6,000 subscribers how many people are going to actually join this thing. So if a lot of people join, I have no idea how much work this is going to be. And I really, really was like I was nervous about that. I think anybody is nervous about that. Like, are people going to see the value in what you're trying to bring? And I was just really, really touched that so many of you said, I see the value in it. I would pay a small membership. And when I say small, I mean small. Small membership to get this going and make this a thing. And I was just very happy to see that. So thank you guys so much, because just knowing that, even if in the end you don't, just knowing that you understand why that's needed and that you would be willing to provide that and you see the value in this, really is what it means. That means a lot. So I'm very happy that you guys said that. Ursa says, book club sounds like a combination of a community tool and something to help keep us on track with spiritual material. Agreed. I pay to fund what I'd like to see. Thank you. Thank you, Ursa. I very much appreciate that. So stay tuned. I'm definitely going to be working really hard, really fast to get that up and running, because I feel like it's the summertime, and I feel like that's like the perfect time to do stuff like this, because if people are in school, Deja, hopefully you're almost like done with classes and stuff. Hopefully you don't have summer classes, but I feel like people will maybe have more time to do this kind of thing. So thank you for your feedback, guys. I very, very much appreciate it. We'll get into astrology. There's a lot going on. So last week we started off with the moon being in Cancer and basically everybody having an emotional breakdown in the comments. And we were talking about how super emotional we were feeling and just how heightened everything was. And from what we were receiving in the messages and the cards, it looked like that was going to kind of turn into, hopefully if people like kind of heeded the advice there, taking time for self over like Tuesday and Wednesday of the week, not doing a lot of that outward socializing stuff, to try to figure out how or why we are still transitioning as opposed to fully transitioned. Why is that? What are we still clinging on to? What are we still holding on to? What things are maybe comfortable, familiar, regular in our lives that we tell ourselves are okay, but are really not okay, and need to be removed. And we talked about cord cutting rituals, which can be super magical, crazy ritual, all kinds of stuff, baths and things if you're into that, or it can simply be sitting down with intention, with a candle, burning something small that you write down that you're releasing something. It can be something so small. It does not have to be a complicated thing. I talked about cord cutting, like things that are visual. So we talked about like how people often use cord cutting candles, like figure candles that they actually tie together because you visually see that cord being cut, whatever it was that made sense to you. I hope that you guys got a chance to do some of that, or got a chance, if nothing else, at least to explore what it is you're still attached to, so you can try to, cut those cords, or at least figure out how. So that's what was happening with us astrologically. Over the week, we moved from Taurus to Gemini season. So happy birthday, Geminis. It is about you, the twins. Gemini energy, I really like Geminis in general. I try not to generalize, because then you guys get all worked up like, oh no, like, no. It does not mean that all Geminis are like this, or if you're not a Gemini that you're not like this, or anything like that. The energies of the zodiacs are archetypes. So they are overarching energies that flow through anything and everything. And people born under those signs tend to exhibit those characteristics more often and live in that space more often. But any of us can be in that space at any given time, and based on what planet is in what chart and all that nonsense, you might be. So Gemini energy, whether you are one or not or whatever, is an energy that I do enjoy, because it is generally a sort of chatty energy. It's a very communicative energy, and it's a great energy to be in for conversation and having conversations either with other people or with yourself. And we are moving into Mercury being in retrograde, Mercury kind of governing communication. And I feel like that kind of helps us out a little bit, having Mercury retrograde in Gemini, because I think it kind of helps to maybe balance the energies in that regard, where when Mercury is retrograde, people often talk about having difficulty communicating. With the sun being in Gemini, maybe that will balance that out for folks. I don't know if that's like astrologically, mathematically sound. I don't know if that's how it works, but that would be my hope. So we're in Gemini season. We have a retrograde coming up at the end of the week. Did I write it down? No. End of the week, the 29th, I think. We have a full moon happening, that I wrote down. We have a full moon happening on Wednesday, which is the 26th, at 7:14 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. We have already talked a million times about like the full moon and what the energy associated there is. The full moon often being talked about as a good time for releasing, or for sort of reaping what you sowed at the new moon, showing gratitude and enjoying the abundance of the things that you've been growing and manifesting and all of that good stuff. Sagittarius is an energy of expansion and travel and adventure and going abroad. But what I was just learning recently about some of the nuances of the eclipse is about the ways in which an eclipse helps us to, or not helps us, is a time when we should go inward. So we have an eclipse happening at the same time as the full moon. And so usually the full moon is all about this, like, illumination, bright light, release. Things have come up to the surface and are overflowing. I think when I think of the moon, I think of like the way the top of like a goblet looks, it's a full cup, but the sort of added complexity of the eclipse, as I understand it, as someone who is not an astrologer but tries to just educate themselves on these things, the effect of an eclipse is such that it's really best for us to go inward at this time and take a look at where you need to expand, go abroad, maybe actually travel, try new things, because the full moon in Sagittarius wants you to like manifest that, but there may be a question of how to actually make that happen. And when it's an eclipse, it's kind of like the universe's way of saying the answer is inward, or at least the part of the answer that you need right now is inward, not outward. So if you want to expand, if you want to travel, if you want to try new things or go abroad, and you haven't been able to do that, or you haven't been able to figure out how to make it happen, this might be a really conducive time to figuring that out. Not so much from the perspective of outside of you, like what do I, what money do I need, or what car do I need, or how am I going to travel, or what have you, but inward, what do I need? What do I need to develop as a person or work on as a person to allow me to take this leap? Am I dealing with anxiety? Am I suffering from a poverty mindset? I'm afraid of not having finances if I make this change. Do I have abandonment issues and I'm afraid to leave my family or my hometown? Like, what is it on the inside that is not preventing, but maybe is a bit of a blockage or an obstacle in what you're trying to make happen? So that's something that you might want to explore while the moon is full in Sagittarius and experiencing this eclipse. Oh, I missed stuff. Yes, Joey says, I love Geminis. Yes, you don't have to do any work to keep the conversation going generally. It's just like, and it's great. Oh, I love the moon emojis. We've got some cuspers in the building. 555, I'll take it. Should I ask my crush out on Wednesday? I don't know. It's Gemini season. Why not? Patreon may be more economical. Ooh, okay, Acme, thank you for that feedback. For economical in the sense that it's cheaper for people, you mean? Or is like easier or something? I was thinking YouTube because everybody's already on it. So nobody has to go figure out like another thing. But let me know what you mean by that, because I'm getting all the info. I've never done, they take less of the donations. Oh, you mean like Patreon versus, that's a good point. I should look into see like how much, but I don't know. I have to balance that out with also like what I think is going to be like easier for people too, because like, like Patreon can take less and like that's cool, but like if less people go there because it's a new platform or another separate thing, then it could be like offset by that. So I got to look into that. If it's dramatic enough that I feel like the difference would really make me able to do more, from there, then I will. I should learn more about Patreon. I've never really like learned about it. I briefly signed up for it just to be familiar, but I never really like read all the terms and all that stuff. But Tana could be allowed to ask questions, not personal tarot questions. You can ask just general questions that we might have answers for. This is the live reading for the collective. Oh, I should say hi to people who have just gotten here. Hi, I'm Allie, aka BronxWitch. This is the live weekly tarot reading for the collective. Used to be on Instagram, now it's on YouTube. We come together every week. We talk to each other. We talk astrology, and then we pull cards. I pull cards for the week coming up to give us an idea of what the energies are, what we might want to expect, things we can work on in ourselves that might be beneficial for the week. I pull from an oracle deck, I pull from tarot decks, and then lately I've been letting you guys choose a support deck for us to pull from. Oh, thank you, love. I appreciate that. If you are interested in private questions, just check the description box. It has all the info about readings and all that good stuff. You can get an email reading on Etsy. So I'm happy to help. Just not right now. All right. So I think that's everything in the astrologies that's going on. Obviously, there's a ton of other things going on. Every planet is doing something. So I encourage you guys to check out the description box and follow or watch some of the astrologers that I've linked so you can get full information on what's going on in the cosmos, because as above, so below. And I do think it is worth it to check out what's going on up there. See how it feels down here. And now we're going to get into the cards. And, oh wait, you guys. I did this last time. I almost forgot. You guys sent me stuff again. Okay, so real quick, thank you for your patience. I'm going to make this really fast so we can get into the cards. Thank you guys so much. Last week somebody did a super chat and I used that to buy more stuff for the goodie bags that I carry around in my neighborhood that I give to the homeless or people who are in need, anybody asking for money. It's a thing that I started doing recently. And so super shout out. That was Bresky last week. Thank you very, very much. I let you guys know about the book registry because I do not take tips for this in any way. The book registry is something that I set up so that if you ever receive a message that really resonates with you and you do want to say thank you or you want to show support or exchange in any way, you can go there and contribute a book to my ever-growing book list, which we will start working on in the book club. And you guys sent me stuff, so thank you so much. Let's see. I'm gonna open this thing because this is not from the registry. This, I believe, is from Chiba Chica. Do you guys remember we were talking last week about who makes these vape skins and magnets? Chiba Chica said she sent along something else. I don't want to cut it. Let's see what it is. Okay. Yay. All right, this is Chiba's card, adding dankness to fashion, one puff at a time. Super dope. I don't know if you guys can see that a little bit. Chiba's stuff is really, really cool. She makes like belts and bags and watch bands and all these really cool stuff from like smoke paraphernalia, from like blunt wrappers and swisher wrappers and like all of these like random smoker things. And she's got like ashtrays and stuff like that. And then she has these vape skins, which I think she designed, which is really cool. So let's see. Here's some. Oh, ooh, look at this, you guys. It's a new battery and a skin. You guys, look at this. Oh, I don't know if the camera picks it up. It's like iridescent, like mermaid colory skin. It's like bluish. Is probably making the camera freak out. It's like blue, green, pink, yellow, iridescent, sparkly unicorn goodness. Isn't that pretty? Yay! Awesome. It might need to charge, so I'm going to charge it. Ooh, and then we have a silver bottom and a new sparkly vape skin. I think this one, yeah, so I can put this one on that one or on this one. Oh, this is for this size. Okay, so she put this one on and then I can swap it with that. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Super cute. Yes, isn't that adorable? I love this. Hit Chiba Chica up, you guys, on Instagram and Etsy. If I did not, I don't think that she is linked in the box right now, but after this is over, I will add anything in here that is not already linked down below, okay? So just come back for the description box. Yay! Ooh, and look at this little baggie. Queen. Is that backwards? Nice. Thank you, my darling. Thank you, Sister Smokey. You rock. I appreciate that. Yay! Deja says, I have to keep her in mind after I deliver. I need a new pen and accessories for sure. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Hit her up. Get on it. Where do you live, Deja? Is it legal where you're at? So recreational cannabis is legal in New York now, guys. Very, very happy about that. I have to say, we're going to have to wait for like a year or so for the I mean, I'm a medical patient anyway. So it doesn't really matter for me, but it's great. It's going to make it more available. There's going to be dispensaries opening up. It's going to take like a year, but it's going to be great. Ooh, you got a lot of spell ideas with the queen bag. Yeah, I more than likely will be ending, like it will end up for some spiritual purpose, I'm sure. That's what I do with everything. Ursa hits pen in solidarity. Yes. You guys. Okay, guys. So, briefly, I want to touch on the power of manifestation. A couple of weeks ago, or like last week, if you guys follow Olivia, the Witch of Wonderlust, she posted a video where she was doing an unboxing of some playing divination cards called Conjure Cards by Jake Richards. I immediately fell in love with them when I saw them. First of all, they're beautiful cards, but second of all, reading playing cards is something that's been newly introduced into my ancestral practice by my ancestors. I got a deck for them, and I've been using it to communicate with them in my morning prayers. But I don't have a deck just for like reading. So I saw this deck and I was like, oh my God, it's beautiful. I would love to have that for reading now that I'm learning to read with playing cards. And I was like, I'm going to manifest this deck. I'm going to manifest this deck. There's no reason why I shouldn't or can't. I'm going to manifest this deck. And I posted a post in my stories with a picture of somebody else doing a flip through and a little incantation. And I just wrote, with this post, I call into my life this deck of cards by Jake Richards and Wiser Books. And tagged them both. So mote it be. I found a GIF of a pentagram that had the arrows flowing in an invoking direction. And I placed it on there and I prayed over the post and then I posted it. And here we are with my conjure cards. Let me tell you something. Manifestation is absolutely real. You can even do it online. These are the exact cards that I wanted, and it took less than a week for that to happen. Unbelievable. I just want to say thank you, God, and I want to say thank you to my ancestors for leading me to playing cards as a form of divination. And I want to say thank you to Lupe for sending this, who says, hey, Allie, this deck is finally yours. Finally, it took a week, girl. Enjoy this deck. I wanted to gift you a deck for so long, but wasn't sure if you like one. I know you will love this one. You deserve it. Thank you and blessed be. That's unbelievable. So I don't know if Lupe is even in here today. I don't know if she knows that I just saw this and put it on there. That's so crazy. So she wanted to gift me a deck for a long time. Hadn't found one, hadn't seen one, sees this one on the registry, gets it, doesn't know that I just put it on there like a couple days ago. Oh my gosh. It's like sometimes it's like you shouldn't be surprised when you like get used to stuff, but it's still like, okay, I don't mean to tease y'all, but we do have to get into the reading, so I am going to resist the urge to open the box right now, and I am going to do an unboxing. Okay, I will go live to unbox this, so just stay tuned. Keep your eyes peeled. I will go live here on YouTube someday, maybe this week, to do an unboxing of the cards, okay? Pip cards. Yeah, because it's like the playing cards are like the pips from the Marseille tarot, right? Because I was thinking like maybe I should look into the Marseille. What's crazy is my very first deck, the very first deck I ever got when I was 15 years old, was like a pip deck. There were no images on the minor arcana. It was so hard learning how to read with those cards. I would not recommend doing that at all. But I didn't know what I was doing, so I just went with it. And then later on was like, there's supposed to be pictures on these cards? Well, thank you for just even thinking that, Lopez. I appreciate it. Yes, twin. Thank you. Thank you. I'm probably going to do a post on Instagram and post like how I did it. Like I'll post exactly what I put in the story post and the prayer I said over it and everything. And see if it works for other people. Tech magic is cool. I'm learning. Tech magic is cool. Okay, there's one more and then we're done. All right, what is else? I hope I can open this with this. Okay, I don't know what this is. Oh, you are the gift. Blessings and ashe to you, Joe and Earth the Kitty from Mariah June. Hey, Mariah June. What is this? Keep your gift a surprise. Unwrap your present before opening this envelope. You guys, I'm like, my anxiety. I'm excited, but my anxiety. Okay, what's going on? I love this bag. What is this? Oh, I don't have space. Oh, yay! It is a beautiful copy of Sacred Smoke by Amy Blackthorne. Yay! This is the next book that I'm reading in a book club that I am in. And I put this on my list. Thank you so much. Why does it have an envelope? How did you get it like all fancy gift wrapped like this? They do this? Oh my gosh, they like put it in a whole little thing. Yay, that's the note. Thank you, Mariah. Thank you. They really went above and beyond with the whole, with the wrap. I hope you give them a good review or something. Yes. Oh, listen. Anything that is, if you guys know me, anything that comes in a glass jar, anything that comes in a reusable bag, it will be absolutely used, and it will be used 99.9% of the time for a spiritual purpose. Okay? Don't throw those things away at all. I keep them, and I reuse them for sure. Thank you so much. This is nice. This is like a real bag in itself. Thank you so much. I don't know what I'm going to put in it yet. I might use it here because I have a lot of stuff in this desk. I might use it to help me organize in there. Thank you so much, Mariah June. I really appreciate that. This is very, very helpful. If you guys were following my Instagram last week, November, you might have seen that I was a workshop presenter for an online witchy conference called the Official Witches Sabbath. Out of that grew a book club. Everywhere I go. Out of that grew a book club, and I became the moderator for that somehow by accident, kind of. And this is the next book that we are reading, and I needed a copy. And this helps me a lot, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, Mariah. Thank you. You guys rock. We appreciate you so much. So thank you, everybody. You're awesome. I really appreciate that. And, you know, when I first decided to start doing the lives, and I was like pulling cards for myself to decide, like, what am I going to do? Do I want to do this? And the message that I got was just do it. Don't do tips. And this is in no way. Acme thought the bag was the gift. Me too. I was like, ooh, a bag. Mariah says you just check the box that says this item is a gift. There you go. But when I was trying to figure out like what to do, this is not a knock to any readers who take tips or anything like that in their readings. I 100% get it. The only reason I don't is because I just felt like I was being instructed not to. That's the only reason. When you don't get paid for things, sometimes you wonder whether or not what you're doing really is valuable to people. You know, you wonder like, oh, do people really, you know, do the lives really matter to them? Are they really helpful? Because, you know, when you're collecting money, it's like, okay, well, obviously, yeah, people must really appreciate this because I got this much money today. But when you're not doing it, aside from, you know, commentary and stuff, sometimes it can be hard to know if people are receiving the messages and if they appreciate it and all that good stuff. So you guys going on the registries, you guys, if you do super chats, you guys responding to the polls, you know, all that stuff really, really helps me and, you know, fights back those little voices that are like, nobody's watching, nobody cares, this isn't helping. And I'm like, no, it is helping. People do like it. It really, okay, you know, so thanks. That is what that does for me. So thank you guys. I appreciate that very, very much. So we are finally going to get into the cards. Thank you so, so much to everyone who has been patiently waiting for us to get into the reading. If you are just joining, I will just say really quickly one more time that this is the live weekly reading for the collective. We gather here every week on Monday to pull cards and get an idea. I'm like stoking my little incense fire. And get an idea of the energy in the atmosphere for the week, things that we can expect, look forward to, anticipate, not for the purpose of making us feel like, you know, only one version of reality is going to happen or, you know, these things are set in stone, nothing like that. We do it so that we can prepare ourselves and be proactive rather than reactive when things do happen in the week that maybe are shocking or unexpected or time consuming or what have you. Okay, so these lives are therapeutic for you. Okay, the weekly lives are meaningful. Thank you. I'm glad they're therapeutic for me too, honestly. So all right, I'm just going to take a quick second. Well, I'm going to take the time I need to take, but it shouldn't take too long. We've just been going. So I'm just going to take a minute to just center myself and get back into the zone. I'm going to pull cards for the week, starting with a message from the Oracle and then moving into tarot messages. And today I was drawn to pull from the Key Tarot deck. And the Oracle, as always, is the Vintage Wisdom Oracle deck. And you can find info for both in the description box. Our oracle message this week is balance. Balance. I like the colors kind of match my nails. Balance. The energy with this card is very Two of Pentacles. It's about the balancing act that we often have to go through in our lives, whether that be work-life balance, balancing your job with your personal life, whether that's balancing pleasure with responsibility, balancing our vices and how much we like to enjoy instant gratification with being serious, being responsible, things of that nature. So this will be different for all 25 of you in here at this moment and for everybody who is watching. But the message that Spirit wants you to take away for the week is balance. So you either are benefiting from striking that balance in your life. Perhaps that's something that you've been focusing on for a while up until now, and you feel like you are actually getting there. You're striking that balance. Or perhaps you're not very balanced right now, and that is something that Spirit wants to remind you is important and needs to be restored and rectified. Imbalances in your life need to be corrected. This can also be interpersonal imbalances. So one thing that I heard was balance of power is another thing. So this can relate to power exchanges in your life. If the imbalance is about power and control, where one person or one entity has more power, more control than the other, an imbalance there could be, a really serious situation. So we need to focus on balance this week. I'll put that here behind my vape. My vape's in there. Oh, Deja, thank you. Thank you, Ursa. I appreciate that. Yeah, I was like, I'm going to make this a really interactive community. Because I'm in a lot of stuff where, I just kind of lurk and maybe post or comment and stuff. But, a really interactive community where people get to know each other, I think would be cool. All right. So now we're going to move on to the tarot cards. To get a more specific message for us for the week, I'll be pulling a card for every day of the week, starting with today. Oh, Sabine, that's crazy. I literally, yesterday or 2 days ago, was having a whole download thing about yin and yang and the restoring of the feminine, the restoring of the divine feminine, the restoring of yin energy to the world, and how that is happening. And I really strongly believe that we will see women presidents, women prime ministers of the major countries and stuff happening more and more in the next 20 years or whatever. I think the world leaders are going to switch to women, even in countries where you might not expect it. Talking to you, Asia. Oh, that's crazy. Mariah was just watching a video about yin yang looking for home decor. Wow. Yeah, yin yang balance energy is the message for the week. So it looks like some of you have already been getting that message. But yeah, that was coming through to me heavy. It was all this stuff that was lining up, and I was just like, oh my God, I get it now. Okay, it was layers. It was like, okay, so I can't get into it. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. The divine feminine. It's on the rise. Debbie is coming back. 11 o'clock. That which is. The feminine, the divine feminine is that which is. The divine masculine is that with no form, that which is not. That has been in prevalence and predominance for a long time. And now we are switching to that which is the divine feminine form. It's a whole thing. But these are the types of things that we can talk about in like memberships. So think about it. Okay. Oh, Ursa said I had a 20-minute conversation with my working partner, 2-person coven, hey, about restoring order to the masculine by restoring power to the feminine. Yes, that was a part of my download too, because it was like, we are not like, okay, obviously the feminine and the masculine doesn't specifically mean men and women, but it does show up in how we interact with each other. And I was thinking about all the ways in which like women, this might be a controversial thought for some people, but some of the deficiencies, quote unquote, that we see with men as a whole are because of us, are because of women. It's a whole thing. I have a whole theory. It's a whole thing. We can't get into it. But we can elevate the masculine to its next level of enlightenment when we realize that we have the power to do that. As the divine feminine awakens and we realize that that is our purpose maybe, but certainly power. Yeah, I want to read Sacred Woman too. I think it's on my registry list. I've been doing a guided meditation hosted by Deepak Chopra and Alysha Kravetz centered around activating the divine feminine. Ooh, I love that. I don't really know Deepak Chopra, though I have heard the name obviously a lot. But I know Alysha Kravetz. I'll talk about divine feminine while she plays some tunes. All right, let's get into the cards of the week. Wow. Okay. We're going inward for sure. We're going inward for sure. This eclipse energy is definitely coming through really, really strong. Almost every single card here. Can you guys see the cards? You can't really see them. I think if I try to show you them, then you can't see the top of my head, which might not be so bad. You can't see them anyway. I'll show them to you. Okay. Every card here is in the reverse, except for the final card. That it's going to make sense, I think, why. But everything is in the reverse. And like immediately the energy here was just like really going deep within. This is not about like how last week it was about not socializing and spending some alone time so you could figure out like what some of these negative attachments are. This isn't that. This isn't about being like literally alone. This is about facing yourself and looking at yourself in a mirror. Very Gemini energy. We have the Lover's card here in the reverse. And yeah, it's a lot of looking inward. This balance card is about more than just like balancing this for that. This is about balancing the inward with the outward, making sure that your outside life and your outside reality actually reflects what's on the inside. So this is being really extroverted on the inside and wanting to maybe get to know people or socialize or whatever, but on the outside not acting that way for some other reason. Maybe there's fear, or maybe there's insecurities or something like that. But it's the sensation of the balance. This is what I'm doing. The energy is like this. Instead of like this, like I probably look ridiculous. Instead of like this, the way you balance a scale, I'm feeling this. The imbalance is like this. I'm too much like this, or I'm too much like that. My inside is where I focus, or my outside is where I focus. They're not in balance. So we want to focus on the inward aspect of that. So that leads me to believe for a lot of you, it's the inward part of ourselves that is not getting the chance to be outwardly expressed. We see that reflected with the first card of the week, which is the Two of Wands in reverse. Pardon me. Liz says, I've been drawn to do shadow work this week. Yes. Yes. That's exactly the type of inward work you would be doing to rectify that balance, where perhaps there's a part of you that you would prefer to deny, that you don't like so much, that you don't like to show so much, that you need to recognize is a true and living aspect of who you are, and you're not expressing that outwardly is doing, it's either tripping you up or it's causing more harm than you realize, or maybe you do realize it, and it's throwing everything off, that what is happening on the inside is not being reflected on the outside. We see that in the first card for the week, the Two of Wands in reverse. The two comes up again in the Lover's card. The two comes up again in the Two of Swords, which we also have here later in the week. And we have this idea of the two with the balance card. So this is all of that balance energy, okay? Being that this is falling in the Monday position, you might know if you've tuned into one of these readings before, that the Monday card for me is not necessarily about the events of Monday so much as it is what is the energy that's leading us into the week. Like, what are we focusing on the most? What's kind of like the subject matter of the whole reading? And we're inward here, so sometimes the Monday card might indicate we're talking about family, or we're talking about within romantic relationships, or we're talking about here, we're going inward and we're talking about that balance. The two is not you and another person. It's you and yourself. That is going to be the focus for this week, going inward and really taking a look at what passions, what desires, what interests, what drives satisfy those two parts of yourself. The part that you show everybody and that people know about, and the part that's inside of you that longs to get a chance to have some shine. The self-denial is real, but on a journey with boundaries. I keep falling back to old habits of submission when I want to scream. Self-denial. Let me see here. What is this? Okay, shit. YouTube blocked it because you said shit, but it's okay to curse. Excuse my French, right? Yeah. YouTube has a problem with it. I don't. I approve of this comment. Joey says, it's like the end of the month is meant for reflection. Deep reflection. Deep reflection. really, like someone said, shadow work, going into the parts of yourself that y'all probably notice I don't use that term a lot, even though that's like what I'm talking about. I don't use it a lot just because I feel like I just get tired of hearing it. It just gets overused. But that's what that would be. Going inward to challenge the parts of yourself that really make you uncomfortable, that are the result of unresolved trauma, that are coping mechanisms, and things of that nature that ultimately don't really serve you. You may have gotten used to them. They may have been helpful in some circumstances even, but they are what's holding you back. And addressing that is what we're doing this week. So the balance here of our oracle message is not necessarily this for that, me balancing with another person, or me balancing my work and my school, or my boyfriend and my mom, or whatever. It's a inward balance. The inward needs to reflect the outward. Our behavior needs to reflect the inside. How do we line those things up? And if there are incongruities, what does that mean? So that's the focus, and that gives us a lot of clarification on what spirit means by balance. Obviously, everyone who hears this message needs to take from it what resonates with you. And so if the balance here really is about balancing work and home life, or your free time and your this or your that, then allow those messages to come through and resonate where they need to be. Don't fight them to try to fit my example. But what's coming through most strongly is more about inner balance. Moving into Tuesday and to Wednesday, these two cards want to come together. We have the Empress in reverse, and we have the Lovers in reverse. And what were we talking about? Divine feminine energy. And that is this right here. We are talking about going inward and tapping into that creative, creator, receptive, fertile place that the divine feminine is. The Lovers card in this case is the, like I said, Gemini energy, the love that we have, that connection that we have with our higher self. People think of it in different ways, your higher self, your intuition, God, whatever. But it's that, this is so crazy because I'm just reading the Upanishads with my husband. We're reading the Upanishads. And they essentially are talking about a similar idea of the inner self being an actual self that sort of mirrors really important parts of this self. And it gives you an opportunity to really learn who you are for real if you start to explore that voice, if that makes any sense. So the Lovers, in the Lovers card, the energy that's here is not romantic, like, at all. It's not romantic at all. It's very spiritual. It's very, I am my own partner. I am my own reflection. When I can quiet my mind, what am I saying in there? It's like, imagine, like, what I'm seeing is looking in a mirror, standing in front of a mirror, seeing yourself in the mirror, but the reflection is doing something different and talking to you. And I think, like, if you look in a mirror on a normal basis, like when you're getting ready in the morning, how we look in the mirror, but we kind of don't really look in the mirror? Like, you look in the mirror, but you don't really look at yourself. Like, you don't be in there, like, you're really looking at yourself. You just be like, oh, my hair looks all right. Okay, yeah. So you don't really, like, look in the mirror. And I feel like, imagine if you could stop all of your, like, attachments to the logical world, the rational world, whatever, and you could just stop and, like, look into your own self in the mirror. What would your reflection say? What would it say to you? Would it say the same stuff you say to yourself out loud, or you say to other people about yourself? When you say, I can't do that, or I can't do this, or I'm not good enough, or I can't, like, If you could totally eliminate all logic, let's forget that this is a mirror and that it's impossible that that could happen. If you could remove that from your brain and just give yourself the freedom to believe that your other self could then speak to you through that mirror, what would it say? Would it say those same things that you say? Or is it saying the opposite? Is it actually whispering to you, you can do this, try it, go for it. This is your path in the first place. You have everything you need to do this. Is it saying that kind of stuff? You know, like what's going on deep within you that you perhaps are not listening to or not tapping into or not acknowledging it when you feel it. This energy is very feminine. We have the Empress here in the reverse. Regardless of what you identify as, Anthony said mirror divination. That might be a great thing to do this week if you work with mirrors. They're very, very handy magical tools for everything from affirmations to divination to casting with them. So actual mirror work would be great. Ursa is sitting in front of a mirror right now. Look at that. Don't get freaked out if you start talking on the other side. Oh, thank you, Sabine. So are you. Thank you. The Empress. Divine feminine energy, regardless of what you identify as with your gender. The divine feminine is the other part of every part of you. So it does not matter. It just is. It literally is that which is. The divine feminine is that which is. She is all of the material world. She is all that like creates and gives birth to anything. You know, everything that is created comes from the divine feminine, because that is where creation comes from. So when I say divine feminine, it doesn't matter how you identify. This part of you is the part of you that needs to be explored and identified. You are living way heavy in your masculine energy, or you are making decisions from a very masculine place. And I don't mean masculine like testosterone masculine necessarily. This is making decisions from the logical, making sense from trying to make sense and rationalizing things, trying to apply sort of scientific and empirical tests and approaches to things. That approach is very, very helpful sometimes in life, but it has to be balanced out with the feminine, because you can think your way through a million things. If you don't plant the seed in the soil, if you don't have the soil, if you're not acknowledging it and don't nourish it and don't realize that you are the source of the very thing you seek to create, nothing happens. It's just a lot of thinking. A lot of thinking. The Empress is not about that. That's what the Emperor is for. The Empress is about the creative spark. And notice that she comes before the Emperor. That's important too. Because without that receptivity, you just have energy that has nowhere to go. And that can be very chaotic and confusing. So this week we're focusing in on balancing out the masculine with the feminine, the parts of ourselves that need to be explored that we maybe suppress, whether that be the emotional parts of ourselves or the open parts of ourselves, the innocent parts of ourselves, the willing to believe, dream parts of ourselves, the soft parts of ourselves. That part of ourselves needs to be balanced out with what prior to this is like a very heavy, more hard, logical thing, And that's not to say, again, that is not important. It's just that it needs to be balanced out. Balance is the key here. It's not about eliminating. Balanced. Oh, yeah. Yeah, congratulations again, Deja. That's important. I mean, you are all in your Empress energy. You are all in your Empress energy. So that is activating very heavily for you just naturally. All right. I just wanted to see if there's anything else about the Lovers, because it is Gemini season. And that energy is very heavy there. But yeah, like I said, it's really more, the only thing, I'm not feeling any like romance. It's just about the romance with yourself. Okay. Moving on, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday into the Thursday position, we have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Again, all the reverse cards are about going within. Now, in the outside world, you may actually receive an opportunity or an offer of some kind, but more likely what this is your opportunity to consider what your opportunities are. So what I would say with that is, first, be on the lookout for any opportunities and be open, okay? Don't waste the chance to jump on something. Full moon in Sagittarius, looking for ways to travel, expand, explore. If an opportunity comes your way towards the end of the week, do not yang mind, masculine mind yourself, think yourself out of it. Receive, be receptive, allow for, create a fertile space for that thing to take root and grow into something substantial. So be on the lookout for opportunities, and definitely don't be hasty and turn anything down. Be open to accepting those things. But aside from that, because we are going within, this is also a message about inward opportunity and taking a look at ways in which, first of all, we may have squandered them in the past. We may not have taken advantage of all the opportunities out there because we've been too masculine minded, too logical minded, not open and receptive enough, not balanced enough with our inward voice to listen to that little voice. Instead, we listen to the big, emperor voice in the mind that says, well, you don't have the books for this, and you don't have the money for this, or this isn't the time for this, so we should do these things first, rather than listen to the softer, receptive, feminine voice that says, it's time, divine timing, trust that you're not alone, trust that we're with you, all of that. But also, it's a reminder to not squander anything that has been given to you. So in the practical, because we do have a lot of pentacles here coming up towards the end of the week, do be mindful of what you're doing with your resources. So this can definitely be, bye, Mariah. Blessed be love. And thank you again. This can, definitely be literally money. Be mindful of how money may be flowing out, how you might be spending and things like that. But it can be resources of any kind, energy, time, anything that you're giving out to others that is in the material. And your energy and your time is definitely in the material. It's definitely connected to that which is. So be cautious there. A little bit of a word of caution there. That is followed up by the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. So we definitely want to be the energy here is like drip, drip, draining. Drip, drip, draining. Like whatever that resource is, whatever that was, when I said that, you thought of it and you were like, yep, it's my money, or yep, it's my time, yep, it's my energy. Ace of Pentacles reverse, Nine of Pentacles reverse together. The energy here is I am a little tired of what I have been putting out. There's been a drip, and then it sort of accumulates into, we go from Ace of Pentacles reverse to Nine of Pentacles reverse. We go from like a drip to now it's a full on stream. And the thing is, the Nine of Pentacles is a very abundant and successful energy. Generally speaking, there's so much bounty associated with that energy. It's feminine. I love that it's a feminine figure in like the Rider-Waite-Smith deck and like a lot of decks in the Nine of Pentacles. And it's a fertile place. It's a place that has seen growth as a result of investment, as a result of seeds being sowed and things like that. But when the card is in the reverse, there's an issue with that. There's bounty and there's plenty and there is success that has been accomplished, but something is missing and there is a loss of abundance at the same time that there's also growth. So I hope that makes sense to people. It's almost like, imagine like you're filling up a water balloon, but it has a hole in it. So it's getting full, but because it has a hole, it's not as full as it could be. That's this energy with these going from Thursday into Friday towards the end of the week. The energy here is that drip, that drain. So balance then comes back up to have kind of a different meaning here, being mindful of how you need to make sure that you're not, more isn't going out than what you're putting in. So if this is money, if money has been slowly dripping out and maybe you're not paying attention to it because money is also coming in, we need to pay attention to that balance. Like, is it starting to get a little bit too much like this? And we need to reevaluate that. Same with your time, your energy, whatever thing it is that you are given. Okay. Ursa says they think they know who or what the hole is. Plugging it might be a challenge. It always is. But like I said, the message here from the Oracle card is balance. So plugging it may not be necessary. It might be more of like a stopping it up a little bit, or reevaluating what's happening over here. If energy is going out at a rapid rate, maybe more energy needs to be put in and can be put in. So it may not have to totally be like a shutdown, but there's definitely towards the end of the week a need to evaluate your resources, how and we're talking inward. Remember, we're in this eclipse energy of going inward. So I'm feeling strongly that for a lot of us, these are inward resources, inward energy, love, attention, all of that stuff. Where is it, or how is it maybe being dripped or drained in places that is not allowing you to fully enjoy what you're trying to manifest? Anthony says maybe boundaries are needed. Yes, Anthony. Yes. I would agree with you there. And we have the Two of Swords in the reverse to come through and indicate that. Because in the reverse, and paired with the Lovers and the Two of Wands, and knowing that we're talking about this dichotomy of me and my inner me, this is absolutely about creating boundaries. A lot of times when we get this card, we think Two of Swords, we think of having to make a hard choice or not knowing, what to do or what have you. But in the reverse and in this context, what's coming through is this is about having a sword for each of yourselves. So each of yourselves needs to be as protected as the other. And one of them, it feels like, is not being as protected as the other. So if your inner self is kind of getting assaulted by your outer self always having the microphone, then boundaries need to be established. And we talk about boundaries usually like when it has to do with other people, setting up boundaries so other people don't do certain things. But here, this is more about boundaries within, boundaries that we apply for ourselves, like not letting our outer self boss our inner self around or ignore it or what have you. So this is very much boundaries in a sense. I like that. It is also a little bit about choices in the sense that doing that type of work is a choice that you make. Shadow work, as somebody mentioned, is not easy work, and it's not given either. It's not like it just happens. It is a choice of whether or not to do it. Notice the Two of Swords. I think in this card and in the traditional card, she's sitting with her blindfolds on and her swords in her hand. So fully equipped to do something, fully equipped to defend off a oncoming whatever or do whatever she needs to do, but choosing to just sit there because of the blindfold. Just choosing to sit there. So it is a choice to not confront your inner self. And it is a choice to not do shadow work. And it is a choice to not grow and learn how to balance those two parts of yourself. So be aware of that. Boundaries with or without, the message to address mind, body, and soul as separate entities, right? Different beings, different things, different needs, relationships, right? Yeah, they're different. It's a separate self. It's that other part of us. So we don't until we realize that it's a whole different self, we don't really think to tap into it because it's like, well, yeah, I know what myself wants because myself tells myself all the time. But when you realize that that self is a whole other entity that you maybe really don't know, then you start to realize oh, wow, it can have needs and desires and wants that I'm not even aware of, that I don't realize that I'm neglecting. Getting to know that part of yourself is the only way to know whether or not that part of you is satisfied and fulfilled and all that. Ursa, no is a complete sentence. You're damn right. I like that. Oh, Deja said that. Oh, somebody said that. Who said that first? Oh, Deja created a boundaries charm bag with herbs and a slip of paper that says no is a complete sentence. Absolutely is. Ursa says exactly, you need to basically create relationships with your aspects. Yeah, treat them like different sides of you. So, Ursa is doing mind, body, soul. If you want to divide it that way, you can do soul and spirit. Some people say your soul and then your spirit is a different thing. You can say my present self, my conscious self, and my subconscious self, my present self and my intuition. However you want to break it up, whether it's 3 layers, 4 layers, the intellectual, the emotional, the spiritual, the physical, however you want to divide up those different aspects of yourself to get to know them. I think it would be kind of cool to maybe do a mirror exercise, like Anthony was saying, and actually address your inner self as a separate being. I think it's definitely something to think about. All right. And then rounding out the week, we have the 10 of Pentacles, a card of abundance, prosperity, family, but also generational growth and wealth and continuation. And So the first thing was like ancestors. And then I was like, why did I say that to myself as a question? Because it's like, well, of course, ancestors. But I think I said it as a question because I was like, oh, wait, duh. But the first and foremost message that comes through with the Ten of Pentacles is ancestors. It's so important. People repeat it. It gets probably a little bit redundant to some or what have you, but it really is the message coming through here, and a very important aspect to this process. I don't know if I would say it's impossible. It's not impossible. It's not the same though. When you develop an ancestor like relationship, an ancestor practice, when you start realizing that you are a part of a cosmic crew, if it were, it changes a lot in terms of your understanding of who you are and like what you are. You start to understand that like each generation and like each iteration of like a family line or what have you passes on to the next one all of these like cosmic lessons and all this information, and you don't have to recreate the wheel. You don't have to make the same mistakes that they had. You don't have to have the same struggles. They went through them. They can help you out with them. You just need to turn to them. And it's like, it seems so, I don't know, simple / supernatural, but it's very natural, actually, when you start to experience the type of connection that you can have with yourself when you take the time to connect with and honor your ancestors. You know, it's hard to explain it without it being like all grandiose and stuff, because it's kind of grandiose. Like it's a big deal that our deceased loved ones decide to stay involved with our lives from another realm in order to help us and guide us, you know? And I know not everybody thinks that that's even how it works. That's how I think it works. And having an ancestor connection and a relationship, as it grows, it has helped me to better understand myself and to hear the voice inside that is that feminine, receptive, creative, creator voice that is a lot quieter than my masculine, logical brain voice, you know. So that's going to be an important part of this process for you. I don't know what's going on astrologically at the end of the month or at the end of the week, if there is anything. It just happens to be Sunday, so I don't know if that's like energetically beneficial to doing anything in regards to your ancestors. It could just be that it's Sunday, that's a church day. I know that's the day that I connect with my ancestors, so maybe they put that there just because then I would definitely know that this was an ancestor message. Sunday is like, you know, I pray my ancestor altar every morning, but Sunday is like a special day, coffee, chat, you know, it's a little special. And for me, that makes sense because a lot of my ancestors are, from the Christian South, and Sunday is church day. So it's like church in here. So Sunday is coming through as a day that's really carrying that ancestor energy. I don't think it needs to be Sunday, though. I think they put that there more for me, so I would know that the message here is not about so much about present day family or present day abundance and knowledge, but more about ancestral abundance, the knowledge, and all that they have to share with us here. So I think it kind of might be for me. But if you feel like you're resonating with that as well, definitely take Sunday as the day to do something related to either getting to know more about your ancestry, connecting with them, or certainly if at no point during the week by Sunday would be a good idea to, you're going inward all week. This can't wait till Sunday. Bless you, kitty. Oh my God, you guys hear that? That was my cat. Bless you. She's got like allergies or something. But yeah, we're going inward this week, and it's not like a wait till Sunday thing. This is the energy for all of the week. Anthony says, I can relate to that. Sabine is talking about feminine energy being pushed off and traumatized. Our past and ancestors are bleeding into the now, telling us to bring it back, give it room, so it makes sense that you feel them. Very well said. Oh, very well said, Deja. Oh, thank you, Deja. Very well said, Sabine. Thanks. Cool. I love how I say cool about like going really deep and doing shadow work and connecting with our ancestors. I'm like, yes, let's do it. Why not? But yes, so oracle message for the week, balance. Looks like this week we are going within to challenge the feminine, challenge the aspect of ourselves that are not getting attention, the divine feminine inside that is not getting energy. We need to confront that imbalance. So how can we do that? Perhaps the cards can give us some further support. So I think now would be a good time to move on to a support card. Now that we have several support decks, I'm like, you guys know, I don't have very many decks. I'm not a deck collector type of reader. I just have the few that resonate with me and speak to me for different things. And I don't really get new decks unless, like today, I have the conjure cards that I felt called to, but otherwise not so much. But we have racked up quite a few decks that offer support. So rather than pulling one from all of them and being here for another hour, I think it's good for us to choose one for us to focus in on. So we have the Words as Wands spell deck. I'll talk about them and then I'll give you like an emoji to use. We have the Words as Wands spell deck by Woman of Rivers. That is a deck of spells and rituals. With incantations and instructions. So we would find a spell or ritual for the week. Then we have, oh, thank you, Ursula. I'm glad that resonated for you. Big hermit vibes. Yeah, that deep energy. The other deck we have is the Herb Crafters Tarot deck. This is a deck of herbs that has been very, very helpful to us and allows us to pull a root, an herb, a bark that is medicinal and that wants to come forward for us this week for us to maybe make tea with or an infusion or craft with or get to know in the wild. So that's what that deck tells us. We have the Archetype deck. This is by Carolyn Mize, and we use this deck to look at ourselves. So I'm going to go ahead and say I'm biased. I think this might be the one, given that we need to go deep and do a lot of shadow work this week. I think that this might be helpful, but this deck allows us to look at the overarching energies that would be beneficial for us to explore within. That's the archetype deck. And now we have Botanica by Kevin J. Stanton. This is our newest support deck, and this deck features flowers and botanicals that relate to the tarot messages. Really beautiful deck. I just did a flip through and review video that you can check out if you want to see the whole deck. But that's another new deck for us to use. So I'm gonna do emojis for this. I'm thinking heart emojis, and I think we can do colors on here. Can we do colors? Is that a thing? Should I check first? Oh yeah. Yeah, you can do emojis. Okay, so let's do hearts, and we'll do it by color. We can do red hearts for the archetype cards. These are the cards where we talk about the light and shadow attributes of our personality types, I guess you can say. Herb Crafter's Tarot will help us choose an herb that is medicinal and might help us physically deal with balance this week. Words as Wands is a ritual and spell deck. This will give us a short ritual or spell to do. And Botanica is a deck about flowers that relates to the tarot deck. So we'll do red heart, green heart, pink heart, black heart for your choices. Okay? Red heart, green heart. Oh, the reds are rolling in. Pink heart, black heart. Can't say black heart like always. Black heart. Okay. Lopez the G wants herbs this week. Okay, let's see. We're racking up for archetypes. I'll give it a minute, guys. Do we confirm for 7:30 or 8? Oh, okay. Seeing more green hearts. It's close. I know herb crafters. Or says I can't decide. Herb crafters we haven't pulled from in a little while, so I can understand the temptation to want to go with herb crafters. Okay, are those all the votes? There might be other votes. I don't know if it's going to refresh or anything. So far, archetype cards are winning. Are we cool with that? It looks like that's where we're going. Ursa, you better get in there. Great. Aw, now you tied it up. Okay, now we're tied. We're tied. Does anybody want to be a tiebreaker vote? Red for the archetype, green for the herb, pink for the spells, black for the botanical deck. These two I don't think are in the running. No tiebreakers? No tiebreakers? Red makes sense logically, but feels wrong. I don't know. Okay. All right. You know what? We'll do both. We'll do both. Clearly, we just have to do both. If it feels wrong to just stick with the red, we'll do both. Okay? 50-50 vote. Where's Kamala Harris when you need her? Good Lord. Both. Yay! Now, you guys can't just conspire to do that every time and get double support cards by just doubling up the vote. Okay. So we'll start off with the archetype cards because I took them out of the box first. Yay, everyone's happy. I feel like you guys, did you plan that? I feel like you guys planned that. You guys scheming behind my back? Yeah, exactly, Ursula. I'm giving you guys ideas for schemes, right? We're trying to build a community built on honesty and openness. All right. Let's get into the archetype cards. These cards are slowly but surely getting soft enough to actually shuffle. Lord have mercy. The challenge. For the archetype card, we have the Thief. Thief. So we already know that's the part of ourselves that we need to confront. The light attribute of the Thief is that it sheds light on the potential wealth within you that can never be stolen. The shadow attribute, however, and I think that's probably what we're being told to go inward and tackle and balance out. The shadow attribute is stealing money, creative ideas, affection, or other powers you think you lack. And what came through when I was reading this was energy. Money, we talked about Ace of Pentacles in reverse, money, and other types of resources. Here they mentioned creative ideas or affection or powers, and I heard energy. Okay, so we need to confront some of the energy thievery. And obviously, for all the different people who hear this message, see this message, the thievery will be different. For some of you, it will be a financial thing. For others, it will be about affection. It will be about someone's powers or personal power or authority. But the thing that I heard was energy. So this means going inward and confronting the ways in which you might be maybe zapping other people's energy, but really remember we said the balance, or I said the way I was feeling the balance was inward, not outward to other people. So I think it's more about in what ways are you depleting your own energy? In what ways are you stealing your energy? Is it by keeping toxic people in your life? Toxic behaviors in your life? Is it by investing in things that aren't real reflections of your desires? Is it in living a facade? We talked about the inward not reflecting the outward. Are you draining your own energy by not living and breathing your truth? Any of those things can be applicable. So energy is what I heard, but obviously go with what resonates with you. And so the message is that's what we need to face, the thief, the part of us that is being, that is taking from ourselves or allowing ourselves to be taken from by others or by ourselves. The light attribute of the Thief is that it helps you to identify where that's happening. But I kind of feel like that's a softball light attribute. Some of the cards have this as the light attribute. We're like, oh, this attribute, the light side of it is it helps you to identify it. And it's like, that's kind of a nice way of saying there's really no light side. Like there's kind of no good side to the Thief, really. To me, that's like shadow work completely. Because whether I guess to some extent, the Thief energy helps you to identify it. But any energy helps you to identify it. That's not really helpful, I don't think. I think the message here, Deja says that card screams boundaries for me, right? This guy's getting ready to just swoop on in, all in your private space with all kinds of thievery and tricks up his sleeve. um, and setting boundaries within the self. You know, I'm not going to allow myself to rob myself this way anymore. So that's what we're going inward. Some of us are going inward to address. We do have the Ace of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, and I was talking about how the energy there was to some extent money and financial, and so this definitely also speaks to the financial parts of it. Are you robbing yourself with poor spending choices? Are you robbing yourself by not pursuing all the opportunities that are coming your way? How are you stealing funds from yourself in a way that is connected to the bigger picture of, you know, how you're not fully acknowledging that inner self. Ursa said, if I took a shot for every time I saw boundaries confirmed for me today, oh my gosh, no. All right, so that is the support from the archetype. The thief is the part of ourselves that we need to confront. So I thank Spirit for that really clear message. So we know we need to go really inward, and now we know what we need to do when we're in there. Let's see if there is an herb, a flower, a root, a bark, a berry, a tree that wants to step forward and offer us support with what is sure to be challenging inward introspection. Ooh, we have wild cherry, the 9 of fire. Wild cherry. Wild cherry is a bark, at least I think the bark is used most often medicinally. It's great for the lungs and respiration, breathing, opening us up. This card relates to the 9 of fire in this deck, which would be the 9 of wands in the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck that it is paired with, that it relates to. So I'm going to the guidebook for this one because there's always good information about the herbs and ways for us to connect with it. So we're going to see what that is here. So wild cherry, I'll just read it. The fruits of creative passion feed the spirit, perseverance and determination cultivate courage. Approach your responsibilities with excitement and energy. Lammas celebrates many months of dedication to the land. Your efforts have paid off. The fruits of your labor have come to bear. It's time to make magic with your hard-won harvest. Wild cherry lends itself to many delightful potions and remedies. Invite playfulness into your work. Express personal power through creativity. Let your spirit glow like the bright red berries that shine in a thick hedge. You have the strength and stamina to meet life's demands with power. This makes me think of both the 9 of Pentacles and the Empress. The divine feminine and the opportunity to create and what sort of stands on the other side of your introspection. I feel like wild cherry is here to kind of help you turn a corner. The divine feminine wants to be awakened, and the wild cherry is like, yeah, we're here for that. That's the energy I hear from this like creative, fertile, passionate, kind of energy. There is so much that can be created in this type of energy and in this type of space. We have the Nine of Pentacles, we have the Empress here. So much creative energy, so much abundance. But with both of these cards in reverse, it's so clear to me that there is just something standing in the way. And Wild Cherry can support us as we look inward to face what that is, which we've already been told by Spirit is the thief inside, is the thievery that we allow to happen or do to ourselves, the thievery of our energy, of our time, of our money, of our resources. That is what we need to confront and face, because this creative energy wants to be nourished. And Wild Cherry can do that. Amy said, dang, that card hit hard. Love Wild Cherry. Maybe I'll make a tea. So some of the crafts that we can do with Wild Cherry, you can make a wild cherry syrup for your home apothecary, add it to warmed cider, and toast it to your power. Ooh. I have apple juice. I wonder if I can add cinnamon and clove and wild cherry and warm it up and make like a warm apple juice thing for myself. I have apples. Mush up some apples and put it in. Wild cherry would go really good with apple. Play with cherry blossoms. Craft a flower elixir for strength and stamina, or craft a wild cherry jelly in the heat of summer and let it satisfy your taste buds during winter. Yum. So if you have ever tuned into a reading where we did an herb crafter card, then you know that there are 3 sort of like key phrases or expressions that they give to associate with each of the herbs. I think those are useful because sometimes you're not able to actually get near the plant. So if you can't get your hands on wild cherry, there are 3 affirmations that you can say to help you still connect with this energy. So I'm going to read them to you. I don't interpret the affirmations because they're affirmations. They're just for you to utilize as you see fit. So first, we have radiant power, humble spirit. Radiant power, humble spirit. Next, sweeten work with play. Sweeten work with play. And satisfaction flourishes when you stay the course. Satisfaction flourishes when you stay the course. So that is the 9 of Fire, aka Wild Cherry. All right, guys. Are we ready? Are we ready for this week now? I hope that we feel ready for this week now. I think this week with this eclipse has the opportunity to be incredibly introspective, incredibly illuminating in a way this week. I think many of us are going to have and take advantage of the opportunity to go within and really confront some of the parts of ourselves that we have not been confronting, activating the divine feminine, giving space for this creative, receptive, fertile energy to actually do something with all of that energy and drive and passion that we have. A lot of us are going to be confronting the thief in ourselves, the ways in which we maybe give away or allow to be taken or even take from ourselves valuable resources like time, money, and energy. And our ancestors came through right at the end to remind us that they are a part of that process. So that is the reading this week, guys. Deja said this reading was intense, but in a good way. It was. I agree. I wasn't going to say anything, but yes, I agree. It was intense. It is an intense process to go as deep. And the divine feminine is deep, baby. We're talking about the ocean, you know? The depths of the ocean is divine feminine energy. That is just swallow you whole. deep, and to explore the depths of that is horrifying and difficult. And to get to the very bottom, perhaps impossible, because we haven't figured it out yet. So, yeah, well, thank you guys. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for tolerating a fairly lengthy reading this week. Lots of stuff for us to talk about, lots of ideas, lots of feedback you guys gave me, which I appreciate. Thank you so much for your support, whether it's checking out the registry, participating in polls, or just being here. I really appreciate it. Before you leave, please make sure to like this video if you haven't, and subscribe if you haven't. Like I said, I think I'm probably going to go live on here just to do an unboxing of the Conjure cards. So you're definitely going to want to be subscribed and clicked on the bell button so that you're notified when that video happens, because I don't actually know when I'm going to do that yet. And more to come. So thank you guys so much for everything. Don't forget, the shop shuts down Friday at midnight, so make sure to get your magical and medicinal goodies before then. And I will see you guys here next week, Monday, 5 o'clock. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Ursa. Thank you, Lopez. Thanks, Liz. Bye-bye. Blessed be, guys.